Start the recording. So Control plus to make it bigger. There we go. Alright, so first thing is we're going to cover JS forms. So let's go ahead and open up my JS forms. I'm going to move this out of the way. The title for this page will be JavaScript with HTML forms. This one is going to have the script in the header. So we already have the script up there. We'll just enter our functions right here. So function show data, and again this is on page 133. So using JavaScript with HTML forms, we went through HTML forms in chapter 2, forms with HTML, and exercised various aspects of it using different form controls. In this section you will learn how to make a form interactive with JavaScript. In JavaScript, each form is represented as an object with the same name as the name attribute mentioned in the form tag. The form attributes are name, method, and action. The name attribute, using this attribute, you provide a name to your form in the form tag. You assign a name to a form to recognize it in JavaScript. The method, it has two values, get and post. You send data to the server using these methods. For further details on these two methods, see chapter 2. And the action attribute. Using this attribute, you send forms data to the desired destination. Form method. The form object has two methods, submit and reset. The former one lets you submit the form's data, whereas the latter one clears the form. Form event. You can use two event handlers for a form object in JavaScript, on submit and on reset. The on submit event is called before the data is submitted. If the statement or function returns true, the data is submitted. This submission can be prevented by returning a value of false for the event handler. Similarly, the functionality of a reset button can be prevented with the on reset event handler. Referring form elements. You can refer to a form element either by its name or by its index. For example, the two expressions below corresponds to the first element, the fname field in the contact form. Alright, so let's get to the actual code part. Let's create our function. Function show data. O pop win is equal to window dot open. Window 1. Toolbar, okay, put with a lowercase t, is equal to no status equals to no width equal to 300, and height will be equal to 100. Message will be equal to on order list name and then we are going to append the document contact form.name.value. Message to the message we're going to append list bold email. Document dot contact form dot email dot value. Cell number. That's supposed to be closing bold tag, not BR. Document dot contact form dot mobile dot value. And then to that we append our closing UL. Pop win dot document dot write message. Something doesn't look right here. Let's append our closing li tag. Alright, now let's create our form. Form. So opening form tag. Here's our closing form tag. The form's name will be contact form. Label. Oh, sorry, we're not there yet. First, need to do the field set. And then within our field set, our legend, and legend will contain contact information. Now let's create our 3 labels. Label, it's going to have some text, then a BR, and then input, of type text. Name will be equal to, and I'm just gonna put a hashtag for now, and then finally our closing label tag followed by a break line. So copy and paste it 3 times. Now our first label will be our name. Let's move this down. And the name for this input will be name. Our second label will be our email. And our third label will be our cell number. And the name will be mobile. Alright, after that, still inside the form, we are going to insert our p tags and are at our input button. Value, show data, on click, show data JavaScript function. Alright, save. Reload our page. Name, Panfilo, email, Panfilo at student.tse.edu, cell number 123456789 0. Show data and nothing is happening. Okay. Now let us troubleshoot and see where it went wrong. I see it. Okay, make our corrections. Reload. Panfilo at tsc.edu. Okay, there must be some other mistake. Let's see if we can spot it. Let's try it one more time. There we go. Now it's working. Okay, so that it was Forms.js. Now we're going to look at validating a form's data. You saw how JavaScript is used in HTML forms, but its most significant use is to validate data entered in these forms. For example, you can check that the form's mandatory fields are not left blank, or if entered, they are in the correct format. Data in the previous form could be validated as shown in the following example. The check data JavaScript function is used to check data in the name field through the field's length. If you leave the field blank and hit the submit button, the submission is stopped and an alert message comes up with relevant information. We used document.contactForm.name.focus statement to place the cursor on the field where the error occurred. The function checkData is called using the onSubmit event handler in the form tag. The value returned by the checkData function is determined by the return keyword to assess whether to submit the form. You can use the onChange event handler in each form field to validate data individually prior to submission. Okay, so on page 135, it's a similar project. So let's let us open our forms V. This is on page 135, and the title for this page is JavaScript in HTML form. So inside our script, let's go ahead and create our function. Check data. If contact form.name.value.length is less than 1, alert, please enter your name. Document.contact form.name.focus, return false. Once it exits that if statement, then return true. Now let's create our form. name is equal to contact form on submit, return check data. Once again, let's create our legend. Contact information. Label, name. Well, for now, let's make it as just a hashtag because I'm gonna create my little template first. So label, br, and then our input type, text, name, hash, and then our closing label tag and br. Alright, so copy and paste it 3 times, and now let's go ahead and build it. Name, the name value for name will be name, but let's move the input down 1 line. The second field, second label will be email, and the name for this second input will be email. Let's move it down 1 line. And then third one will be cell number. Let's move it down 1 line and update the name hash to mobile. After our field sets, we will add our p tag. And our input type is equal to submit, value equal to submit. Save it. There's still something wrong with the old other JavaScript. So let me exit this. Nano 15. Looks like it's missing the menu. It's also not linked to the CSS value. So this is not supposed to be showing there. Let's see why it's showing. Ah, I see. Because it's showing because of this script tag here. That's not supposed to be there. It's actually supposed to be down here. So let me go ahead and correct that. All right. Okay, the name label is not showing. Email is showing. I see it. If document contact form dot name contact form, okay, so that is correct. Dot name dot value dot length is less than 1. Ah, document dot contact form name. Save, refresh. Okay, so what else is missing here? If document dot contact form dot name dot value dot length is less than 1, that looks correct. Function check. Ah, there it is. It's not running it because this is misspelled. There There we go. Please enter your name. So, at this point, we have seen how to handle different aspects of HTML forms using client-side scripting to avoid server round trips. Forms are designed to receive input from users and then to store this input into a database. This functionality lacks in client-side scripting languages, and this is where server-side scripting comes into action. In the next part, you will learn how to validate and store HTML form data on the server using PHP and MySQL. JavaScript and PHP. Although PHP offers plenty of power for creating dynamically generated web pages, it is strictly a server-side language. There's a common category of websites tasks that perhaps don't require all the processing power of a server and would be best done quickly. For instance, changing the look of a button on mouse over. JavaScript, a purely client-side language, can be easily integrated into our projects to fill in many of these gaps. Client-side JavaScript itself has many limitations. For example, because it can't communicate directly with a database, JavaScript cannot update itself with fresh data depending on the page. Even worse, it's impossible to depend on client-side technologies because they may not be present in a visitor's browser or may be disabled. PHP can help mitigate the effects of client-side indeterminacy. Where to use JavaScript? Some places you should definitely consider replacing or enhancing PHP with JavaScript include simple arithmetic in forms and calculators, such as shopping cart running total, mortgage calculators, etc. Simple form validation, such as making sure email addresses have @ symbols. Site navigation, such as pull-down navigation menus. Pop-ups, alerts, search boxes. Pop-up events, mouse over and on-click. With the introduction of Electron.js, it is even possible to make desktop applications using JavaScript. Visual Studio Code, Slack, Figma, Twitch, WhatsApp on the desktop, WordPress on the desktop, etc. are made with Electron.js. Python and R languages are mainly used in machine learning and artificial intelligence projects, but now MLAI is possible with JavaScript using Google's TensorFlow.js library. Where to use PHP? Server-side scripting languages such as PHP perfectly serve most of the truly useful aspects of the web, such as the items in this list. Content sites, both production and display. Community features, forums, bulletin boards, groupware, and so on. Email, webmail, mail forwarding, and sending mail from a web application. Customer support and technical support systems, web-based business applications, surveys, polls, and tests, filling out and submitting forms online, catalog, brochure, and informational sites. Games, for example chess with lots of logic, but simple static graphics. Any other application that needs to connect to a backend server. So I hope you have found this lecture useful.